Hi, how you doing today, Tristan?
Doing good.
Would you like to address the prompt today?
I think everything is pretty much covered. I really haven't heard anything I disagree with. The first young lady who spoke, I think, said it well. The original intent of the amendment was for African Americans, black people, but through court processes and Supreme Court cases, it has been confirmed that it is intended to cover everybody who was actually born in the United States or naturalized here. So, pretty much agree with most of what's been said from the panel today.
Is that all you would like to add?
Uh, Yeah, at this point, yeah, that's all I'd like to add.
So your submission is, yes, so your submission is that it was meant for everybody, basically, right?
Well, the original intent was specifically for black people, but over time it has become recognized to be applied to everyone.
So what changed from the original intent to today? Did anything like did another amendment come into play or something?
Supreme Court cases that the first young lady was talking about, you have examples of
Okay.
Chinese citizens or
Oh yeah,
Native
the Wong
Americans.
Kim. You talking about Wong Kim case?
Correct. And so
Okay.
those things affirm that this amendment extends to more than just the original people it was intended for, which was freed slaves.
Okay, thank you, Tristan. Do anyone have any rebuttals for Tristan?
I have a quick rebuttal for him.
Yes.
Okay, well since it's nobody else in the queue, we'll take. Are you up for 3 rebuttals tonight, Tristan?
Yes.
Okay, the black was first, August, then Mister. Go ahead, the black.
While I do agree the original intent was for Black Americans or free slaves and freemen and immigrants who was forced to migrate throughout the Americas,
Hey, I'm
it's
sorry,
been
love.
misused.
Can you hear? Because I cannot hear nobody else but you.
Oh yeah, I can hear. You want to drop and come back?
Yeah, I'm gonna drop and come back.
Okay, yeah, I can hear him. All right, Mister.
Yeah, I do believe that it's been misused and abused because if we're gonna go away from the original intent, then that means it has to be in overtime amended and upgraded, but it never has. It's just been used for malicious intent for both sides of the political aisle when it comes down to race relations and immigration. So every person who comes to America, they're supposed to go through the nationalization process. So that's the main reason why the 14th Amendment shouldn't apply to everyone broadly, but just the original intent for only Black Americans.
Tristan, you have the final say.
Um, I'm not sure where to begin, but I would say this. Any country or every country should have a sensible immigration policy. And I don't understand or see how we could have sensible immigration policy without the 14th Amendment that gives a foundation for people who are born in this country to become citizens and a process for people who are immigrating to this country to become citizens. So that's my response.
Thank you for your response. August, your rebuttal.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say we're not mind readers, right? So we, how do we know their intent? We just know what they wrote, and they wrote all, right? So if they wrote all, how are you gonna say their intent was only for freedmen? If they wanted freedmen, they would have written freedmen into it. They wrote all. These are lawyers. Lawyers are super specific in contract writing, right? They're taught how to be specific, detail oriented, yet they used universal language. So you can't say it was only for, one group when the language is literally universal. You can't say that, especially since we have dozens of Supreme Court cases stretching from the 1800s affirming time and time again it was for everyone.
Thank you. Tristan, final word.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with that. Basically, to clarify, I would say the amendment was created in response to the freeing of slaves in 1865, But as he said, the intention was to cover everybody. So while the response was a direct response to freedmen and slavery, it was written in a way to encompass all people, which is why it's been upheld through several Supreme Court cases. So just of a clarification on the wording. But yeah, I guess it is more accurate to say that it wasn't intended specifically for black people. It was just a response to slavery or the ending of slavery. And the result was an amendment that covered everyone, including free slaves.
Okay, quick question while we still got a little time. Tristan, so do you believe illegal people who cross the border illegally, it was meant for them to have babies here when they came illegally? Do you believe that as well? It was meant for anybody, who say, hey, let's go to America and I'm going to have this baby. It was meant for them too?
Um, I would lean towards yes. The idea being that if you're born in America, then you're an American citizen, regardless of how your parents got here, because you can't control the actions of your parents. So if your parents come here illegally and you're born here, then that shouldn't put you in a undocumented status. You are an American citizen, and I think that makes sense from a legal perspective and a moral perspective.
Okay, thanks, Tristan. Mister, your rebuttal?
Yeah. So I disagree that they expanded it. I think that was a misinterpretation, and I even suspect it was a deliberate misinterpretation. And the reason why I say that is because uh, this was a direct response to Dred Scott. Okay, this wasn't a response to an immigrant. Okay, it wasn't. The intent was very clear. We're talking about people who were enslaved or formerly enslaved, right? Right after the civil WAR ended, people were trying to get black folks back into slavery, so they wrote the 13th Amendment, and then they challenged the 13th Amendment, and then they wrote the 14th Amendment to further bolster the 13th Amendment. So that didn't have anything to do with anybody else. All they were doing was, all they did was misinterpret the 14th Amendment, but I don't think they expanded it.
Thank you, Mr. Tristan. Final word, then we'll get to your question. And chat, your question is coming up too. Tristan?
Well, I agree. Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me? Okay,
Yes,
well,
yes, yes.
okay. Yeah, I agree once again that the amendment was written in response to the freeing of slaves, but I do think it was written in such a way to encompass everyone, and that would include people who were born here, regardless of the circumstances of their birth. It's right there in the amendment. All people born are American citizens.
Okay. Chat, thank you for that, Tristan. Chat, your question, your first question of the night. Who should the 14th Amendment protect first? Descendants of slaves or everyone born in the United States? Tristan, your question of the night is an immigration question. If birthright citizenship applies to everyone born here, does that create incentives for illegal immigration?
Yes, it absolutely creates incentives for illegal immigration. America is a foundational beacon for a lot of people in countries where they don't have the same rights, they don't have the same economic opportunities, and so it's very attractive to come over here and know that if you have a child, that child will have the protections and rights of an American citizen, even if you don't. So I absolutely think it's an incentive for people to come to this country. Um, but I think your question is more along the lines of, is it correct or is it right for people to do that? And that's a whole nother discussion, but I'll land my plane there.
Yeah, no, the question was exactly what it was. I have my own personal views, but they're not necessary to talk about on this show. But yeah, my question was exactly that. Truly, we're going to drop you down so we can rotate the stage. You can come back up. Thanks for adding to the panel tonight. Thank you.